Hey guys, my name is Abhay Sharma, and in this tutorial I'm going to talk about the Fusion integration in Davinci Resolve 15, which is currently in the public beta. It's the first version, so it's going to be slow, buggy, crashy, everything, but we're gonna see how Fusion has been integrated into DaVinci Resolve and what are the things I like about this and what are the things that I do not like about this. So I'm just open in a new project. You can see that Fusion has been added as a separate page or tab like this. So first I will talk about what things I do not like. But before that, let me give you a great news. Fusion Standalone is still available. Okay, so if you go to the Blackmagic site, it is still available. But for how long, it's a question, because I don't know. Why would you pay extra $300 if you are getting Fusion inside DaVinci Resolve for free? I think it all depends on the sale, and they probably discontinue it if it does not go well with Fusion Standalone. So maybe this is the future of Fusion. Alright, so the first thing on my list is I is that you cannot activate Fusion. You cannot directly switch to the Fusion tab and start working in it. Uh, because you cannot create anything, any node and any stuff. So to do that, to actually work inside Fusion, first you have to go into the edit page and create a timelines and import a footage. So let me go and import something. I'm going to import, let's say I import this. I'll change my timeline settings. Okay, so now I have imported that video on my timeline. I have set up a timeline. Okay, so now I can go into the Fusion and you will see that now it's active, and now I can create my nodes. But that is, an extra overhead. Why I have to go in edit and create a edit timeline? Why? I should be able to do that. I don't need footages to work all the time. I am a graphic designer. I create stuff like lower thirds or titles that does not require a video. Why would I need that? This is very disappointing for a motion graphics designer. I mean, you cannot work in a professional environment if you have to dependent on the edit page. Well, so that's the first thing. The second thing is this memory footprint, and the memory footprint is really high in DaVinci Resolve. So if you use the standalone version of Fusion, you will basically get away with half of the memory that's showing in here. And for me it's giving me headache because I have only 16 gigs of RAM in my system, and that is, I know it's not enough, but for motion graphic it is sufficient. But now I have to double it, I guess. So this is something you have to consider. You need a beefy system to use these DaVinci Resolve 15 version if you want to use Fusion inside it. Next thing is audio. So if I go into the edit page and play the timeline, see the audio is playing. But if I go into the Fusion and play it here, there is no audio, and there is no option. I don't find any option to turn on the audio. At least there was an option in the standalone to choose which file I want to play, which sound file I want to play, but here I don't see any problem. This might be fixed into the future. This is still in beta version, so a lot of things can change, so it is very early to say anything concrete. So let's move on to the so the audio does not work. Okay, the next thing is timeline and spline editor core issues, which is like there forever. Now Fusion is integrated inside DaVinci Resolve, and I was expecting some sort of improvement in timeline and spline editor, but it seems there is no improvement. So let me show you what do I mean by that. So let's create a text file, text node, and let's merge it, and I'm going to give it something, change the color. This is nice, you know, you can directly click and change the color. Okay, so let's animate this thing. So I'm going to set a keyframe on the frame 0. Let's animate the size. This keyframing thing is really nice. Let's increase the size, and if I go into this spline editor and turn on the size, you can see Control F, and let's zoom it out a little bit. So you can see it is still jaggy edges. There is no, you know, like anti-aliased edges. If you go into the edit page, select the clip, and if you turn on the inspector, go into the audio, you can see these are the curves that I want. Slightly thicker, looks more anti-aliased, and looks more beautiful. But right now Fusion does not have that. This is still carrying the old algorithm or whatever engine something. And other problems are like if you have multiple spline editors overlapping each other, then it becomes really difficult to select handles or keyframes, and sometimes it just have glitches, so you have to, you know, refresh it all the time. And it happened in this Davinci Resolve also. I don't know, because they have not fixed it, right? And I don't know if it's going to be fixed or not, honestly. But let's hope that it will be fixed in the future. Okay, so let's open the timeline, keyframes, and you can see that if I select my text, this is really disappointing, because you can see the keyframe display is just, you know, single line stroke. It is very difficult to select, you know. I wanted to see like these square kind of shapes representing keyframes, that would be easy to select and move, and also it would be easy to tell the difference between selected and unselected keyframes. Right now it is very difficult, you know, selected and not selected. So when selected it turns yellow, but it is very difficult to say that. I hope this will be changed in the future, for better integration. Okay, next is mini timeline, and mini timeline is gone. I really like the way it has been handled in the standalone version, and you know, it is difficult. You know, you can set the range, playback range, like this, and there are so many things like overlapping with the, you know, actual edit page. So your global in and global out is set by these things, but you can change the playback range by these two keyframes, by these two things, like this. And it's difficult to, there has to be some sort of shortcut, and there is also some zooming stuff. Next is bin, and the Fusion bin is gone, because you can use the media pool where you can create bins, and you can import your footages, you know, images and audio and video, everything. So it seems a little bit of improvement, but there are some things in the Fusion's bin which is very useful. For example, you can create templates, and you have icons for that. For example, what do I mean by that is this. You can open the effects and library panel, and you can see you have all the tools, but they have icons, but if there is no icon system in the templates. I have added my lower thirds, and I don't, what, I just click it and it inserts into that. So let's import one of it, and you can see it's good, but I don't see the icon, so I can't identify which lower third is what, and loader is not recognized as, oh god, unknown tool found. So let's delete that. I have to redo all the lower thirds, I guess. So there is no icons in the effects and effects library templates. There is no icon, so it's very difficult to say which is which. One thing I forgot to tell is that forgot to talk about is uh, the timeline filters are not working. So if I go in there and make any sort of changes, it does not reflect until I restart the Davinci Resolve. So these are some of the things. Maybe it's a bug, most probably it's a bug. All right, let's see the result. um, so in Fusion Standalone you can make any window full screen by F4 function key. It's not working in here. Sometimes it depends on the layout you are using. So right now I have effects library on, nodes turned on, and now no, it does not work. Let's turn off the keyframes. So this is the way you have to if you want to use this is the way you have to change the interface to go into the full screen. That is not what I want. I want my nodes to be there. My god, sometimes it works, sometimes does not work. It's probably a bug. And there is no additional viewers. I found there's no any additional viewers, so I think Blackmagic wants you to buy one of their output cards and use a separate monitor to see your result in the full screen mode. But it is not just viewer. Sorry. We sometimes want this to be full screen, and it was working. I don't know why it's not working now. It's a bug. All right, so what's next? One of the reason it is taking so much memory here is because if you right click in here, you can see the high quality and motion blur is turned on by default. But I don't know if I turn these things off, whether it's going to be converted into high quality when I switch to the edit page. And this is something you have to figure out. But what I want to tell here is that you can see right now the comp size is 1920 1080 and float 32 the color depth. But if you go into the Fusion settings, frame format, you can see it is set to 8-bit int per channel, right? It's not 32-bit float, but so these settings is not affecting the actual comp settings here. So maybe it's a bug. Davinci Resolve 15 is in public beta, okay, and it's the first version. So I actually do not wanted to create this tutorial, but I just wanted to give you an update, so that's why I'm creating this. I will be making more videos if it gets any sort of improvement in the next beta version. We will be talking about that. So it is right now, it is very buggy and slow, non-responsive, crashes a lot. And because these things are all open at the same time, if you use Adobe Creative Cloud, it is like you have opened Adobe Prelude, Premiere, After Effects, SpeedGrade, Audition, Media Encoder. Everything is like open at the same time, and they are they have memory issues. So these are the things I do not like about the integration of Fusion inside DaVinci Resolve 15. And there are a few things I liked, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video. So until then, bye bye.